Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name is Darren, and it's finals time. Semi-finals in some comps, grand finals in others. We already had one grand final last week, or was it midweek? I'm not sure. Mount Gravatt Hawks getting the win in the SEQFC Metro Women's over North Brisbane. North Brisbane absolutely destroyed the competition all season, undefeated, and then go and lose the grand final. Tony Jorkis, how many times do we see that?
A lot. There you go.
Seems to be a regular occurrence. Crazy. A big day. But speaking of big days, let's get to this weekend's fixtures and the NPL grand final. We've got with us Olympic coach Ben Cahn. Now, Ben, you are all too familiar with these final days. Congratulations on making 5 straight grand finals. You must be so proud.
Yeah, look, it's not an easy thing to do. You know, the seasons themselves are getting harder and harder. The standards improving every year. The big clubs are getting bigger, and semi-finals themselves are, take a big toll and huge amount of preparation to get through. And we're a great semi-final team, but. Yeah, look, very, very proud of everyone involved. It's such a good achievement. And
mate, I left a couple in Cyprus, I
think. All right. So, look, just getting back to you there, Ben. Look, I've noticed, there have been social media posts from your players over the years about grand finals, but I always refer back to the Buffalo Bills in the 90s. They made 4 straight Super Bowls, lost every one of them, but no one can remember who beat them.
Well, yeah, look, it's a story I'm familiar with, but it's you look at the games that we've had, and they've all been tight games, and I think we spoke about it last year that a lot of them come down to big decisions from officials, and there was a couple of them where we haven't been at our best and let ourselves down a bit. And I think that in reality, though, the truth is that every year we come up against, a really strong team, and we go in believing we can win, and whatever happens on the day happens on the day. I don't, people will draw the conclusions they want to draw, but I don't think there's a pattern there. I think they're individual one-off games, and unfortunately, they haven't gone our way in previous years.
So what will be the difference this year, Ben? Have you changed them?
Yeah, and look, not really anything that I'll talk too much about for obvious reasons. But we've certainly changed our approach. Nothing drastic. Just in terms of how we approach the week and how we the mentality we have through training in the week. And I think one thing that I'm also very sure about is that the preparation going into the grand final certainly wasn't the problem. And if you look at 2018, 2019, 2018 and 2020, we were very good in both games. And so, a couple of things roll the other way, and officials do things differently, and it would have been 2 different results. So I don't want to get caught in this position of going into the week stressing and panicking. What did we do last year? What didn't we do? What do we need to change? The preparation's good. We've tweaked a few things, and hopefully that'll be enough to make the difference for us.
Looking back over the past few seasons, of course, you made the grand final, but you've also been there or thereabouts with the league. Do you feel, looking back on those years, that you've been really unlucky? As you sort of picked out a factor each year that's resulted in you coming short?
Look, the league's an interesting one, right? It's it's over a longer time scale than the final series, and it's not a secret that since the introduction of Lions, Knights, and Power into the league, the competition's been incredibly tough to keep pace at the top. They're three fantastic clubs. They're so strong from top to bottom. Their playing groups, their staff, the people above their football department. Yes, it would have been nice to have won a league, but I think realistically for us to kept pace with them and push them as far as we can each year, and made finals 5 years in a row is a huge achievement. You know, if you look at before, before those guys came into the league, the big clubs were Western Pride, Moreton Bay, Brisbane Strikers, Brisbane City to an extent, and you look at, they've all had spells in the QPL, or they're all there now. And I think other than Moreton Bay, we're the only existing inaugural NPL team to have stayed in the division the whole time. So that's an achievement in itself when you look at the part of the other clubs that they've taken. But for us to have secured a place in finals for the last 5 years and make a grand final is outstanding, and I'm really proud of that.
Outstanding, but the trophy wouldn't go astray, would it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's why we play. It's why we coach. We want to win, right? That's why we do it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it doesn't hurt that we didn't win in previous years, and I'm not going to pretend I don't want to win this year. But at the same time, it's important to have some perspective and understand the context that the competition is very tough at the top end. And I, regardless of the outcome tomorrow, I'm proud of what we've achieved in the 5 years. But absolutely, it'd be special and would mean everything to go out with the trophy.
I saw your game against Lions a couple of weeks ago when they won the league. That was one of those days where it just seemed there was a voodoo doll against you guys, that there was just no way that you were going to win that game no matter what you did. How did you manage to turn it around in the semi-final?
Well, I think the league game, we played really well. We were very dominant, and we had full control of the game. 3 big moments obviously hurt us. But again, you look at big game Olympic Lions, and there's a 50-50 shoulder to shoulder outside the box, and the ref gives a penalty, and that changes everything. And we, despite that, and despite being 3 goals down, or 3-1 down, came out second half, and we played really well. And taking that belief into the semi-final was important, knowing that we could. We can certainly match them in terms of performance, and it was about making sure that we were a bit more stable and protected for the key moments in the game, and making sure that we gave ourselves as much chance as possible of hurting them at the other end. And in the end, it came off. It was a special game. It's good.
Is there a feeling about your squad this year that you're going to get over the hump?
Yeah, the boys are so hungry. The last few weeks of the season were tough. It's been a tough year. We lost Zach Anderson and Jack Glover, right on the eve of the season, and they're probably 2 of the best defenders in the league. So at that point there, people started to ask questions and write us off, and we found a way, and we started the season really well. And then we lost Keegan Jelicic halfway through the season, and that hurt, as it did when we lost Jez last year. And once we'd done enough in the sort of first half of the season to secure finals, really, and we only had to win a few more games, and it got a bit tight with Gold Coast at the end. But once we knew we'd made it, or we were close, and we probably couldn't win the league, it was hard to motivate everyone going into those last 4 or 5 games. But yeah, the boys were outstanding last week. They're so hungry, and they've been even hungrier, and they've trained so well this week. So yeah, full of belief, full of hunger. Everybody wants it more than you can understand.
What do you reckon, Tony? You reckon they can get over the line this year?
Look, I hope they do. It's been 5 years. Surely they're going to get one. But grand finals are a different kettle of fish altogether, mate. You can play as long as they didn't play the grand final last week.
Yeah, I think Ben's going to get over the hump this year because he's come on this show. That's going to be.
Did he come on last year? Did he come on?
No, he did not.
Yeah, I did.
Did
yes,
you?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
They probably blame me for jinxing him. They blame me for everything else.
There we go. I think we had Darren Simon on the show as well, didn't we? So,
yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. For your time, Ben. Best of luck this weekend, and hopefully you can get over that hump.
Thanks, Darren. Good luck to everyone else in their finals as well.
All the best, Ben.
Thanks, Tony. See you, mate.
Good stuff. All right, let's turn our attentions now to the grand final for that is Saturday night. let's turn our attention now to the Friday night FQPL Men's 2 fixture. And Surfers Paradise Apollo. Now, they're a team that's been dominant all year, but they're taking on Wolves, who've stormed home at the end of this season. And we've got their coach, Mark Wills, with us here. G'day, Mark.
Hey, Darren, how are you?
Good, mate, good. You're at Carmichael Park at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, we just finished training a little while ago. So the guys are having some food now, and I'm with you.
Good stuff. So training the night before a game, is that normal?
Yeah, we've done it. We've had a few Friday night games. It's just a lot lighter, probably a little bit more tactical, and that's it. So we started at 6:30. We're off the park by about 7:20, so just 50 minutes.
Okay. Take us through the year, mate.
Yeah, it's a different one, that's for sure. Pre-season, I'd say we were flying, actually. We were doing really, really well. We actually had a bit of a struggle to get a squad together, to be honest. I moved on a lot of players from last year and started with pretty much a completely blank canvas. I think I only kept 3 players from last year. So it was a struggle. I think we started the season with 16 players until the transfer window opened up. But we're still flying, and then the floods hit. And that pretty much put the brakes on pretty quickly, actually. So we weren't able to train, I think, at Carmichael Park for about 7 to 8 weeks. Thankfully for Clairvaux, they offered us their pitches, so we were able to still go there for a few weeks. And then we had the first 5 games away. So it was a little bit different at the start of the season.
Okay. So do you think that's that obviously that your form wasn't that flash earlier on in the season, but you've come home like a house on fire, haven't you? You've won about, is it 10 straight?
Yeah, we won in the fixtures. We won, I think it was 8 of the last 9, and then the semi-finals. So we won 9 of the last 10 games. The transfer window certainly helped us. I'm sure, no doubt, if you're looking at the stats, the players we brought in, 2 Solomon Islands international players, which have been an absolute pleasure to have. They were really important for us. And also Tom Ross and Byron McLeod up front. So we were able to score a lot more goals, and also we stopped conceding as many, which obviously helps.
And this weekend, tomorrow night, you're taking on the benchmark of the competition, Surfers Paradise. It's no easy game for you, is it?
No, well, it's a grand final, nor should it be. They've been brilliant all year, to be honest. They're well coached. Alex is a good guy. He's got a very experienced squad, but he's got a good blend of youth in there as well, particularly probably out on the flanks. So they score a lot of goals. They concede the odd goal or two, or we haven't scored past them yet, ironically. I think we're about the only team that hasn't actually scored a goal against them, but we'll hope to change that tomorrow night.
Right. So what are your plans? How are you gonna take them on?
Oh, it's the last game of the year, so we'll have a red hot crack at it. We're not going to just sit back and hope for the best. As I said, we're a team that is in good form, so we'll go out there and play the way we have for the last 8-9 weeks, and certainly take the game up to them. There's nothing to be scared about. It's 11v11 at the end of the day.
And you made the move this season from Roachdale. You enjoying it there?
Yeah, I love it, mate. A great club, the committee, the extras that they do for the players, for the coaching staff. They've been, the support is outstanding, to be honest. Really, really good. So it's a good playing group. The culture in the change room's good. The culture in the club's excellent. Facilities are good. We haven't got a clubhouse, unfortunately. Still got the change rooms and all that, but there's nowhere to really be after the game. But it's been brilliant. Couldn't have asked for more. Good
stuff. Very good. Tony, have you got a question for Mark?
No, not really. I haven't followed the competition that seriously, actually. I just watched Surfers Paradise Apollo go the merry way, but the grand finals are different kettles of fish. And, winning form's good form. 9 out of 10, you can't go past that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's, as I said, we are in good form. But as I said, we certainly know it's another step up tomorrow night, that's for sure.
They've got to travel. They've got to come in on a Friday night from Gold Coast. They want to be a nice drive.
Yeah, well, it's a good kickoff time, 8:30 on a Friday.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, so say a little bit earlier would have been nice, but that's the way it is. That's it's no excuse or anything. It's just we'll just get on with the job and away we go.
If you go extra time, the lights at Perry Park turn off at 10:30. You could be in strife.
We could all get breakfast burritos at Guzman y Gomez on the way out.
Yeah.
Mark, are you locked in for next year?
Yeah. I have. I mean, we haven't sat down and actually like formalised anything, but yeah, I'll be here again next year.
Yeah, good
Well, unless
stuff.
something changes in the very near future, anyway. Tomorrow night might decide that.
Who's that?
And of course, you've got promotion as well to look forward to next year.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I say it was something that was never ever mentioned. There was no pressure from the club. We didn't even mention it any time as a playing group. It wasn't a focus. The focus was just to try and win as many games as we could, and the rest takes care of itself, and that's what's happened.
Yeah,
How many
fantastic.
players would you need to strengthen your team for next year, Mark, going into another comp?
Oh, it's a significant step up. So, yeah, you've got to look to bring in a few probably more senior players, I would imagine. So, because if I look at tomorrow night in my starting team, I think I've got 6 players 21 and under.
Well,
So as you go up, I'm going to have to find a little bit of experience in there. And I think on the bench itself is going to be another 3 guys under 22 or 23. So, so I've got it. Yeah, it's a very, very youthful squad. And they've got a lot of experience this year, but there's definitely going to have to be some experience brought in for next year.
are you confident in keeping those kids? They're not going to jump to NPL clubs or anything like that?
I'm fairly confident keeping most of them, yeah.
That's good.
Yep. I mean, there's some that will always want to have a look around, and fair play to them. Yeah, they've had a really good year. But I think the culture in the club will help keep a lot.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so that match is 8:30 tomorrow night at Perry Park. Surfers Paradise Apollo against Wynnum Wolves. Mark Wills, thank you so much for your time. I know you've got to go, mate, so I appreciate you giving us a little piece of your time.
All right, thanks, Darren. Thanks, Tony. Good luck to
Good on
everyone.
you, Mark.
Thank you. Good luck, mate.
Cheers, guys.
All right, let's move back to Saturday night now, and there's another grand final happening. It's the FQPL 1 men's competition. Redlands United are taking on Rochdale Rovers. I don't have either coach from those teams, but I do have Daniel Pennisi from Mitchelton. G'day, Dan.
Gaza, how are you, mate?
Good.
Whoa,
So, mate, we're gonna get you on board to take us through the tale of the tape and who you think's going to win.
Well, thankfully we've got. There's no doubt the 2 best sides playing in the grand final. Rochdale and Redlands definitely probably streets ahead of the pack, and deserved promotion. But so it's interesting. It's going to be a really interesting battle. Rochdale have probably got the strongest attack in the league. Both sides have got the leading goal scorers. Redlands' defence is the strongest in the competition. So Redlands have won their last 6. Rochdale have won their last 3. Where do we go? A defences is it defences that win grand finals? Is it attack?
That's referee Sarah. Didn't hear the previous one.
Well, yeah, I'm going to leave that one away because the referees that have been appointed for the games deserve their appointments. Hopefully they maintain their hopefully they don't maintain their level of cards. Otherwise there could be some let's say that one team will finish with less than 11 players on the park. But look, to answer your question, Redlands haven't beaten Rochdale in the league. They've been very, very tight. I'm torn between it. I would think that if Rochdale, their big players who have won NPL, such as Marek, are on fire, it may be enough to get them over the line. But I think in this instance it's going to go to extra time, and I think Redlands might actually be lifting the cup.
This is the year where Rochdale have finally got over the hump. I mean, they've won grand finals in this league before, but they're actually matching it with promotion this time.
Yeah.
Would that have an impact, do you think? Do you think that would sort of mentally make them feel like they belong a bit more?
Often the argument is that once the perception from anyone who hasn't won the league thinks that once a team's won the league, then they put the cue in the rack. And Redlands have won the league, obviously. And same with when teams get promoted, the teams, below that make the finals think, oh, great, well, we've got a good chance because they take the finger off the pulse. History will show you that in recent times, that's not the case, that the sides like Logan who have been promoted and Power and that over the years, they still want silverware. And once you're in the grand final, all you're thinking about is win the grand final. So I don't think there'll be any distractions. No one will be thinking about promotion or in the back of their mind thinking, oh, we got promoted, so it doesn't really matter. When you're in the grand final, it matters. When you lose the semi-final, you say we've won the premiership, it doesn't matter. But once you're in that grand final, you want to lift the trophy.
Yeah, for sure. Who do you fancy in this one, Tony?
Rochedale Rovers.
Why do you say that?
Daniel just said that. Redlands haven't beaten them yet. And I don't think they'll take their foot off the pedal. I think they've been through too many years of so close yet so far. Now they'll top it off, I think, this year with both.
Yeah, okay.
They've got some big match players, like they've got a number of players who have won NPL and FQPL grand finals. That does make a difference in
experience.
It definitely makes a difference. But, the coach is the same. Ross has had a lot of success with Lions and Graham, has had a lot of success in all of his coaching. From a finals perspective, probably more so with in the old league with Sunday Miners, but the all of his teams have been through pressure cookers, so I'm sure they'll be well drilled, and both teams will feel comfortable and confident that they can win.
What time's that game?
That game is 5 o'clock.
So we've got two grand finals on, one at 5, one at 7. So how many people from
7:30?
So how many people from Redcliffe are going to drive to Perry Park to watch the NPL grand final?
I think there's games on at the same time as well. I noticed that they're just down the road from my place. North Brisbane are playing in their semi-final at 4 o'clock or something. So a lot of the...
I would have thought the NPL grand final day would have been the big event. We've got grand finals played all over Brisbane. No one knows whether they're Arthur or Martha. If I'm going to go to watch the game of Redcliffe, I can't go to Perry Park. Where are you going to park at Perry Park?
Yeah, you'd expect not many neutrals will be showing up to these games. I mean,
No, but why not put on like they used to do? And it used to be the old days, Capital 1, Capital 2, Capital 1 Premier League. You've got everyone there. Now you're sending people to Whoop and back. No one else is going to go. So unless the Croatian community turn up and the Greek community turn up at Perry Park,
which they will,
that's it. But I'm sure there's people from other clubs like Peninsula or Purvis Rochedale and Redlands and things like that would love to go and watch that game. Why couldn't they play them on Sunday?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, the under 23s grand final is on Sunday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, there you go. So why couldn't they play
at Lions Stadium?
Why couldn't they play grand final like that? And I'm going back a few years ago. They had 3 divisions, 2, 1, and Premier League, how that was used to be called, all on the same day. Rather than scattering grand finals here, there, everywhere, you don't even know whether you're Arthur or Martha anymore.
I think they've done it this year. I think there was, the FQPL 2 was always going to be standalone, but I think they've got the women. No, they're still going, aren't they? It was going to be the 23s beforehand. So it was going to be 23s, then FQPL 1, then NPL. But they reckon because of the weather forecast that they're not going to play them all together. They're worried about the field.
Oh, so we've become weather forecasters as well now.
Oh yeah.
Mate, the game's going backwards 100 years. And we're putting 4 grand finals in 4 different parts of Brisbane, so no one can go to watch the main one.
Well, $12 a ticket, so they've got to make the money, mate.
Really? I won't be going anyway. I'll go to the casino.
All right, Daniel, thank you very much for your time, mate. Feel free to stick around for the chat at the end, but appreciate your time. Thanks, mate.
Stick around, Daniel. We've got a bit of discuss, I think, after that.
All right, now let's talk Sunshine Coast football. So it's a topic that we very rarely get to discuss. Corey Nix, are you with us, mate?
Hi, mate. How are you?
Yes, here he is. Corey, coach of NYU, Nambour Yandina. Now, mate, had an amazing year last year. Didn't quite come up with the goods this year. Tell us what happened.
Probably a little bit similar to a lot of people, to be fair. We obviously, we had a great year last year. I think in total over the two squads, we had like 20 players, move on for various reasons. Many, go to higher levels and the usual, work related, uni, etc. So we had a lot of new players this year. Very, very young. As far as I know, we're probably one of, if not the youngest, squad on the coast, which is always great. And I think early signs were good. We got good momentum. We always have good training, numbers and culture at our club, and then we were blowing teams away pre-season and early on in the season, and then the big break. I think momentum killed us too, and to be fair, I know that it's been spoken about already. Experience counts for a lot, man, and to be fair, we quite a few of our experienced boys work situations changed too as well. So we just had to go. We just had to put faith in youth this year, and just couldn't see games out. Like performed really well. We were really happy with the performances this year, but just couldn't quite turn them into results. So it's still plenty of positives, and looking to obviously just get back in and continue next season.
All right, I better put on my Sunshine Coast hat. Thank you to Koana. Now, speaking of Koana, they not only they got into the semis and knocked off Maroochydore Swans, which is a side with plenty of experience. They've gone straight through the grand final.
Yeah, well, that's obviously they're the prime example. Each year, Koana are definitely a team full of experience, been there, done that, and obviously the running joke is that they just like to save themselves for finals, and they certainly know how to show up in finals. So it'd be interesting. I think it could go either way. Maroochydore, Noosa, to be fair, Maroochydore rode the luck a lot this year. As much as same again, they got a lot of experienced boys back to actually have gone the season unbeaten. I think a lot of people were quite surprised, but fair play to them. They've obviously deserved that. But I think it could definitely go either way in the other semi before the final. To be fair, and then I'm sure most people's tip will be Koana for the final too. Just because, like I said, they've been there, they've done that. They know how to win in them moments.
Right, so it's Maroochydore against Noosa this weekend. So, sorry, did you just say that you're tipping Maroochydore?
I'd have to tip Maroochydore. I'd have to, but I think it can go either way. To be fair, I genuinely do, and I know what momentum counts for everything. So Noosa are obviously going into the game. Probably don't have much to lose as well. It happens a lot in finals. Especially on the Sunshine Coast. I think since I've been in the country, to my knowledge, I don't even think the top team have won a grand final. If they have, maybe it's 1 in 7. Generally it's the teams that don't really have much to lose and then build momentum in the final. So it can genuinely go either way. I won't like to make it. But if I'd say Maroochydore if I had to give a tip.
Right. Okay. And let's have a quick look at the women's. So. Sunshine Coast Fire have qualified for the grand final, beating Woombai, who have had an amazing year.
Yeah.
Have basically come from nowhere, haven't they? But Woombai are taking on Maroochydore again to qualify to take on the Fire. Have you taken much interest in that league this year? Yeah,
that Woombai are another one that it shows. I think they had a lot of the Wanderers girls. Went back, they formed a bit of a good team this year at Woombai. Like a lot of girls that have played at an high level. To my knowledge, same again, great win by Fire. Probably had nothing to lose, right? But I know that Woombai had a couple of important players missing, and same again at these levels. Literally 1 or 2 players can make a whole lot of difference. So if Woombai have their strongest team, I really think that they'll blow anyone away, really. So I still tip them to get through and even take the final out, really.
Good stuff. All right, and there is another match as well where where is it? There's the playoffs into the FQPLs. So Maroochydore will be taking on Willowburn in a couple of weeks to qualify. Now, you played in those playoffs last year. I suspect that you think that the Sunshine Coast team would have enough to get over Willowburn?
Oh, yeah, look, I'd like to think so. To be fair, I think, I had chats last year. As much as I know they have their own reasons why, I don't understand why it's done why it's done. Like, Sunshine Coast prove year in, year out that we can now compete with the Brisbane and Gold Coast teams. So, in my opinion, it shouldn't really be the way it is, but it is the way it is. And yeah, I'd be very surprised if Maroochydore, don't get the win.
All right, they would then move on to another game, qualify.
Oh, Mr.
Sure, I
Hale.
don't understand it just yet. It'll all come clear in the next few weeks. Good stuff, Corey. Great to have you on the show. Appreciate your time, mate.
No, cheers for having us, mate, and keep doing doing your thing. You're doing great stuff. So appreciate your time as well.
Good stuff, Corey. Thank you. Feel free to
Cheers,
stick
mate.
around. All right, now Jason Hale, mate, you've been popping in and out as that phone's been jiggling during the show.
Sorry,
Here's
mate.
your time to shine, mate.
I reckon he's on the drink.
Not tonight.
All right, Jason, I'm going to take Jason, of course, is president of Ridge Hills and the FQPL 6. Jason, I'm going to take you all the way through to the FQPL 3, Metro North and South. We're going to run through all the leagues, mate.
That's fine.
All right. So we're at the semi-final stage in these competitions, and the Lakes managed to get up and win the premiership. So congratulations to them. And they will be known next season. They've just recently released that next season they're going to be called North Lakes United FC.
That's correct.
Yes. So they're taking on Bayside United, another team that came on really strong at the end of the season. And St. George taking on Newmarket. Who do you fancy there, Jason?
I think it will be a top 2 grand final, mate.
So the Lakes and St. George.
Yep, definitely.
All right. I fancied Bayside in that one. I wasn't too keen on them at the beginning of the year, but their results of late have been fantastic. So as we've mentioned, momentum in finals is a great time. All right. So moving on to the FQPL 4, North Brisbane taking on Redcliffe and North Pine taking on Logan Metro. I saw North Pine taking on Metro a couple of weeks ago, so they're playing each other again. That should be a great game. Who do you fancy, Jason?
Well, that top 4 has been a seesawing battle, for probably the last 6 weeks. Like with Redcliffe, back-to-back promotions, quite a few of the old Power boys there, like Nick Dowsett, Cameron Scott, Jamie Hillier, Cody Hillier. They got a fair side. They can score goals, but they seem to manage to win games, quite comfortably when they've probably should have lost. But, yeah, they've got some talent up front. But I think North Pine have been, under Michael Brockwell and Darren Bender, they've probably been the informed team for probably the last 10 weeks, and I think they deserve to go up. And I think they'll make the grand final, along with North Brisbane, who Gregory out there has done a wonderful job with the club in the women's department too, and the juniors and the men's. So I think that club's got a very good future with Gregory and his committee there.
So the two Norths, it'll be a North v North grand final.
I think it will be, yes.
I'll probably play that game of Roadster.
We'll see. We'll see. The FQPL 5 semi-final sees Springfield United up against Willowburn. Yes, Willowburn are in this competition as well.
Yeah.
And Tarragindi up against Brighton.
Oh, once again, what a top 4. Willowburn snuck in there last night. Dave Newton's team beating Westside 1-0 last night. He's done a good job there. But you just really can't go past, Springfield. They had been the form team, and Tarragindi and Kevin Meacock, they're so unpredictable. He's got them well drilled. But Brighton Bulldogs are a young side, full of running. So you've got 2 good semi-finals there. And I really think, once again, it'll probably be a Springfield and Tarragindi final.
it's interesting that Willowburn, this team in the FQPL 5 is their top team.
Correct.
Yet their second team, if they go on a run, could actually make their way into the FQPL 2.
That's exactly right.
Crazy setup.
It is a crazy setup.
All right, and let's get to your league now, Jason. The FQPL 6, Ridge Hills up against Park Ridge and Old Bridge up against Yeronga.
Whoa, wow.
Tasty.
I must admit, it's been a good year for our club. You know, like it's been a long 15 months to get where we are. Like last year, we finished sixth. You know, we're probably, I wouldn't say underachieved, but I think where we finished with the side we had is probably an indication. But this year, we've you know, brought in a few new players and we started very well. Then we lost our way with, you know, losing to Maroondah at Maroondah, drawing at Bribie Island, then drawing at Maroondah at home, and we lost points where we shouldn't have lost points, and injuries kicked in. But we seem to find some form probably at last back half of the season, and it really pushed our chance of promotion. Being Old Bridge twice this year, you know, that was two really good games. They are a good side, but we just seem to got the better of them on two occasions. And Yeronga, you know, they're a funny side. They are a really, really funny side to play against. If you score early, the game's not over. They'll just come back at you. You know, with Pablo Avila's in there, you know, just run in the middle of the park, just spraying the balls. They've got a very good side, and they did deserve promotion. Park Ridge, well, Spencer will probably agree with me. They probably should have got there, but they lost their way. And I think I told you about 4 weeks ago, Darren, I think Park Ridge will miss out on promotion, and they finished fourth. So, yeah. So, once again, they seem to get there, but they fall at the hurdle. But we were very lucky the last 6 games of the season. We had a full strength team, and that really got us through to winning the league. And, yeah, it's been a wonderful year. It really has. The whole club, just growth is amazing from a small side right through to seniors. It's been a really good year. I can't complain.
Good stuff. So that your game is 7:30 tomorrow night.
Yes, against Park Ridge, yep. And I think Park Ridge are bringing the 10 bus, I believe. So we're expecting a big crowd. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Good stuff.
And the other game, Yeronga and Old Bridge, well, that was a ding-dong battle last Wednesday night at Yeronga. So I think this one will be a real, battle. Yeah, two form sides, really, you could say. But, you know, I think Old Bridge lost their way the last 4 weeks of the season. But it doesn't matter. You know, they're promoted alongside us in Yeronga. So you got 4 good teams in the top 4, and you had Logan finish 5th and Bethania finish 6th, which, was interesting with Bethania. But I think Adrian Pearce out there I think he's got same plans for next year. So I think Bethania and Logan will be all right next year. All
right. Thank you for that, Jason. Quickly, just looking at the FQ South Coast, Broadbeach United have done the double, winning the FQPL 3 men's. The FQPL 3 women's went to Musgrave. Big win for Murwillumbah, who got promoted in the FQPL 4. And at the 5 competitions, there were 5 different clubs. So it was a good spread of the trophies down there on the South Coast. So congratulations to all the winners there. So that's our run through the leagues. We haven't mentioned very little about the women's leagues this week. There's semi-finals in some competitions. Some comps have still got a week to go. I have to confess, it's been a minefield trying to catch up with it.
It is an absolute schmozzle.
Yep.
Yeah, very difficult to keep up with. And
you can't.
Yep.
I remember a game in 2007, I think, at Olympic, played North Pines. It was one of the biggest crowds at Olympic, and you were in bloody ankle-high mud.
Oh, was that game? Pennisi and North Pine got promoted to the Premier League.
Yeah, that's right. 4-3 scoreline. The game was in a mud heap.
Yep. I think Shane Coffey scored a winner. I think it was like a 20-yard thunderbolt.
He's got a hat-trick, and Daniel Burns got a hat-trick for Olympic.
That's correct, yep. And Trevor Rodman led North Pine to promotion, yep.
That's right. And nobody complained. Now we've got, it must be the new boots that can't handle the wet weather, eh?
Mustn't be, mate.
Daniel, if you're still there, mate, it's got to be time for you to jump in.
Yep, I'm here. You train in the rain, you play in the rain. So something's changed a lot. I don't know if it's insurance. I don't know if it's, I think it's a lot more, it's much more expensive, or people take more pride in their surfaces now, so that it's protected a lot more than ever was. And, you know, it's,
And then we complain about the length of the season.
What's that?
And then we complain about the length of the season because we've got
That's right.
games and things like that.
Yeah. I think it's just because so many clubs spent, it's so expensive to maintain a field if you're not in Moreton Bay Shire, then
I agree with that one.
It's just a struggle for clubs. But we're here to play football. You know, at the end of the day, you can keep, if you never play on it, the pitch is going to stay pristine, isn't it?
That's right.
What should be happening, ideally, if you look at what the council's done at Caboolture, that field drains so well that the plan should be each year, from a Football Queensland perspective, to start investing with government funding, and not just resurfacing fields, but either making the call to go synthetic, like they have in Sydney, or proper drainage, dig it all up for 2 or 3 meters down, and have at least one field, you know, per region that is always going to be playable, so that that club can host the games that weekend for the top level games. Because it's just been happening for 20 years, and it's going to keep going, where fields are going to get washed out unless we start biting the bullet and saying, all right, every year there's going to be one club that gets invested per region, you know, for 500 grand. And, you know, over the next 20 years, then, you know, we'll probably have 30, 40, 50 clubs with really good waterproof fields. Doesn't have to be synthetic, but like as I said, Caboolture's got the drainage there. Love it or loathe it, I mean, the ethnic grand finals are going to give you the best, most passionate supporters.
Yeah, ethnic grand finals are going to give you the passionate supporters, but Football Queensland and FFA and whoever else runs the show don't want the ethnic element in the game.
Well,
and the game's dying faster than you can poke a stick at. They wins last week because 10 Sydney United fans jumped the fence at Peninsula Power apparently and knocked the fence down.
But the national second division is going to be made up of 80% ethnic teams, isn't it?
That'll never get off the ground anyway. It's got the money. Sydney Olympic had to go through liquidators today or yesterday to survive.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because of what the owner did previously.
Bloody
So
great.
how are they going to come up with $2 million a year to put a team in the comp?
Guys, we might wrap up the show
Knights
there.
will be good for it.
This is a conversation that's best had with the record button off. So we'll end the show there. To all the clubs that are playing grand finals this weekend, best of luck. To all the clubs playing semi-finals, best of luck. If you're playing football, good luck to you. I'm Darren. This has been the Village Law SEQFC preview show. We've only got 1 or 2 weeks left. We'll see you next week.
No, it'll rain, Darren. We got some more, mate. Don't worry.
Darren.
I'm going to put the sprinkler on a pair